scheme of things. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Sound Advice, and welcome to the Smotherparty channel. This is a live stream. I've got Chad joining me, and our first edition of Sound Advice was about connecting digital audio interfaces. In other words, connecting your microphones, headphones to an audio interface, such as like a Focusrite or a Audient or whatever you might have. And we kind of did like a deep dive, but we never connected anything. So we thought, let's connect stuff. Chad hasn't actually connected his yet, and so he's looking for all the bits and pieces that's required. I figured this would be a good time for me to show everyone what it is that we need in order to connect. So if you're following in real time and you have all this stuff, then this is going to be a great stream for you. If you're watching this after the fact, then you'll be able to, I'll even leave in the description the things that you need in order to connect an audio interface. So, of course, you need your audio interface. That could be this, a Focusrite. Maybe you have a Behringer, one of the more inexpensive but still very apropos units. You need a camera adapter that's going to fit the the device that you're trying to connect. So this would rather go to your iPhone, or this would go to your iPad. Not this one. This is a Lightning adapter. So what we have today, I think what I'll show is I'm going to connect my audio interface to my iPad. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I'll connect the audio interface to my iPad, and then we'll test to make sure we're connected by playing something on YouTube. It's a very basic test, but the whole idea is to just connect it and make sure that it's working. And if it's not working, then you know that you have to take care of some things. So there's a really good chance between Chad, myself, and perhaps even yourselves that, hey, Sean, uh, that you might not be able to connect, and we might have to do some troubleshooting. So, but we're actually connecting our audio interfaces today. So that's the thing. I don't know if Justin's here, but aloha if Justin's here. John, where are you coming from? So, yeah, we're definitely, we're not secretly, we're openly making time machines. So now Chad is doing something that well, I'm sure some of us have all had to go through, which is, where is the dang thing? Uh, he is specifically looking for an audio, the camera adapter. I'm gonna just get brave and disconnect what I got going here, just so I can show you. This is a USB C3 camera adapter as opposed to a USB A, and this is a USB 3 as well. The difference between them are, one is Lightning, which this would go to my iPhone. One is C, and this would go to my uh, iPad. So you're going to be connecting to your iPhone. No, you're not, because you're using your iPhone.
And so, first obstacle.
You will be able to see me connect this, and you'll live vicariously through me. And then by one, you might be able to remember what I did. It's not that challenging. It's only challenging if it doesn't work, because then you have to poke in certain settings just to kind of make sure things are set properly. But your situation should be plug and play. So if you're running an audience, then you really do have to go on your laptop, download the drivers, then get the drivers and put them on your phone or your iPad. So, there is that. I've already done that. So I don't think I'll have to go through that. So I'm going to connect. Well, you know what? Maybe I should connect. Oh yes, I'm gonna be more direct, because I have a USB hub, USB 3 hub, and one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. This has 7 USB ports and a charging USB-C charging port, and this is all powered, also powered. So these things come in really handy, because you can plug one thing in to your computer, your laptop, whatever, and then you have all of those USB, um, you know, all of this, which is awesome, right? You turn each one on and off. But for sake of simplicity, I'm just going to go direct, and then you can kind of we could get wild in future episodes of sound advice. But for today, we're just going to do a nice direct setup. All right. So now, what's really tricky is talking, patting your head, and rubbing your tummy at the same time. That's what's really challenging. We're now I'm going through. Where is it? Where's the chord? Mm. No, the problem is I just had it. There it is. There it is. I got it. Um, yeah, is this a oh okay, no, this is a USB, a standard USB. Um, so I'm now what I'm looking for is a USB-C. Now here's a good thing to note. If you have a newer unit, chances are you need a USB-C, right? You need a USB-C cord, which is different from the USB-C A or B, or whatever the letters and numbers are. Um, so I'll give a little example here, if I may, if I can, because I have an older USB, yeah, and Chad has as well. These are white. The ends here are white, and that's how you can tell the difference between the older and the more newer USB-C three. USB-C three. Okay, enough on that. We've exhausted everything we need to know on that. Now we just need to focus and get that USB-C three cord in our hands. Please. So, what things do you have on hand? Wow, I can't believe this is. I can't believe I'm going through the same thing Chad just went through. Oh my god! how, how could this happen to me?
Thought
Let's
you
see
were
what's going
involved.
on there. Sean says he listens to a band called Malevolent Creation, and he's from Gainesville, Virginia. How hot is it in Gainesville, Virginia? By golly, it was 105 just before I came online here. 105. Yeah, yeah, ungodly. Just incredible.
Well, it's 59 right now, actually, but yeah, it's kind of out here. I think I'll go for a bike ride to the store later to pick up stuff because I have to pick up stuff in increments right now because my car is inoperable.
All your gear and stuff.
Stuff my backpack with as much stuff as I can, and it's nice that I'm in biking distance, though. But
Well, wow. If I can't find my USB-C 3 cord, by golly, uh, um, uh, the nervous laughter. Oh, the nervous laughter. Yeah, right. Where now I'm saying it's the same mantra. That's how there's like a universal sort of a thing. It's the same mantra, which is where could it have gone? Yeah, there's not many places the USB-C 3 cord could be. Wow, wow, yeah.
to look for chords.
I'll look for cord. And for our next episode, we could do um app icon recognition. Yes, just scrolling through pages and pages of apps trying to find settings. So, wow, this is like near maddening, isn't it? Right? You know?
Gosh,
Yeah.
I'm using
Yeah.
25-foot cord for 1 foot of space. Jeez.
Thing that'll make you go ahead and buy like 47 of those cords so you never do that again, ever. The indignation of not having the cord. Um, Realizing that you went to school and you aren't wearing any pants, you know, exactly what it's like. Except you don't get any dates at the end of the whole ordeal.
No, Dave.
That was freaking incredible, man. How?
Every
Yeah.
time.
Ladies and gentlemen, You're a witness to all of the chords. You're a witness.
In our
You
lives.
know, what I'm starting to think that I'm somewhat like colorblind or something and just can't see tell the difference between white and blue. But yeah. All right. Well, guess what? I can still do this. I'm just being persistent and trying to find the correct chord. But no, instead of connecting the audience, I'll connect that Behringer. There. How's that? Yeah. Now try to stop me. Dang it. All right. Now the Behringer comes powered, and I'm going to readjust this so you can see it. Um, Now the Behringer looks bigger and all that, and more scarier, more, but it's just still the same thing. You've got a headphone input. I just undid that. Um, and it has now this has the old school. So just like Chad's, this has the old school. So maybe it's best. Maybe it's best. Right. So this is connected to the audio interface. And this particular case, I have the UMC 404 HD from Behringer. I think this is probably as much or maybe even cheaper than Chad's. Behringer makes really inexpensive gear. Um, and this is pretty good. So if you need four inputs instead of two, then pick yourself up one of these. Okay, now breathe. Let's I am still going to connect it to my iPad. So I'll go ahead and close whatever programs just so we're kind of starting all anew. If this were your iPhone, then you would treat it like an iPhone and whatnot. So now you get your camera adapter. Okay, hold on. Are we where we need to be? The audio interface, this particular one has its own power. You could also run it off of the power from from this camera adapter. So I just plug them both in, and however, Chad's unit runs exclusively off of the camera adapter power. So this Behringer runs off of one or the other or both. Okay, so if you have, I'm gonna unplug this. And I'm gonna unplug everything that isn't, yeah, everything that isn't plugged in. So if you have a power unit for your audio interface, go ahead and plug it in. Otherwise, let's go to the next step, which is get your camera adapter. I know that I don't know why they call it a camera adapter, but it's probably so you can do camera stuff with it. But we're doing audio stuff with our camera adapter. You're plugging it into your iPhone or your iPad. If you're using your laptop, by the way, you don't need any of this. You just plug this right in your laptop. But for your iPad or your iPhone, you're going to use your camera adapter. Now, before we plug our audio interface in, we're going to uh if the audio god and goddesses allow us, we're going to uh oh, this is getting ugly already. Yeah, let me move this. There we go. That's a little better. That's a tiny bit better. We're going to plug in the electricity So now, so we're going to give our iPad or our iPhone, we're going to give it power off of the camera adapter. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I have this I don't have an iPad, but I have a Surface Pro 7, an old school one, and I just plugged in that USB minus this adapter, and I now have here some power on my.
You might have some plug and play ability. All right. All right. So
Oh,
let's up to Chad because now that this is getting power, your iPad or your iPhone is getting power. Now plug it in to the audio interface. All right. Now, now you should, just like Chad did, you should see your audio interface light up. We don't have anything plugged into this yet. Now, I could monitor this audio interface with my headphones, but then you guys wouldn't hear it. So instead, I'm going to monitor it through my PA, but same difference. I I have what are called monitor outputs on the back of the unit, and so does the Scarlett. And you just go through the main outs of your monitors. Yeah. Which, by the way, are not the same as the playback outputs, but I don't think you need to worry about that, Chad. And I'll forever be, I will forever be still like, there's always going to be a part of my mind looking for that USB 3. Oh my God. Okay. How? How? There's no place for it to go. This is where it lives. It's always lived here. Its whole life has lived here. It's gone to school here. It went to college here. It did everything here. Okay. So now we should have our iPad connected to our audio interface by way of the camera adapter. So now, does this work? Well, if you're Chad, yeah, you just plug it all in, it works fine. End of story, end of stream. Yeah, but because I can't find my USB 3 cord, it's not going to work for me at all. Let's see. Oh, so what do we mean by work? I'm going to turn on my iPad or iPhone. If you get an iPhone, turn it on, and hopefully your facial ID still recognizes you. Mine, I have to convince. I have to spend an hour to convince it's actually me from day to day. Open up YouTube on your iPhone or on your iPad, right? If you got headphones on, turn the volume down and stuff at first because you never know how that's going to go. Oh, volume down here as well. Volume down on your audio unit. Yes. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play one of my own videos so we don't have any problems. Yes. Oh, maybe not from this. Uh yeah, maybe. I think if I play from my own channel, then I'm really going to get into trouble. So I have to play something from our other channel. How about some outside freak action? What normally we would be doing. So everybody, do you got your favorite YouTube video that you want to hear? If not, you've had plenty of time. Get it together here. All right, what are we going to play? I'm going to play this one. Yes, let's see.
my 1/4 inch into the focus right, and then into the monitor out. Is that right?
Say again.
Wait, so I only have this plugged in right now. So for my mixer, I know we went over it before. I'm just kind of trying to backtrack.
Using one cord, go ahead and plug that into the left mono out, monitor out on the back.
Okay.
Oh, that plugged it in the. Or let me see that again. Oh no, unplug that. Unplug that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now turn it around. Yeah, the front is the input and the back is the output. I realize that this isn't taught in schools at all these days. I mean, the front could be the input and the output. It's just, especially if you're in California or Colorado, the input could be the output. The output could, surely, I jest. The stuff on the front, that's the input. The stuff on the back, that's the output. Makes it real easy.
So
All right. I'm gonna let me just let everyone see here that it's working now. I've got the iPad playing, and
mother, is this gonna be super loud?
let me mute mine so that way we can see if you're hooked up now.
Jazzy, funky rock jam. See what happens here.
Figure out what video we want to play. Hey, that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing if you're out there trying to connect your audio interface and going, oh wow, it takes more time to choose the video. Batman official, hello, Batman, aloha, DB.
Huh. I am not getting it out of speaker through my mixer right now.
Video playing. You do. Okay, now there's something you want to take into consideration. Your volume on your unit has to be turned up. So you're going to have to turn the volume up on your unit so then it will feed to the audio interface.
That's in there. This is in, out, left out. This is monitor out. I have the monitor phones up on the sound. I have the main sound up on the mixer. I'm still not I'm still not getting anything though. Oh, is this? Huh? No.
Able to show me the your the front of your interface?
This is where I'm at.
Uh,
Video playing.
Make sure that your well, that's not going to matter at this point. Um, Now, I mean that it doesn't work because you plugged it into. Show me what it is that you plugged it into.
Okay, so there's the line out, following the line to the mixer, and I have it right here in the monitor out Can you see it?
Your volume's good on your mixer, right? You can hear other things on your mixer. Yeah.
On the mixer, it's the static is coming through the Behringer speaker right here that I have the XLR attached to.
Plug that into a channel, just a straight up channel on your mixer. I, yeah, you can plug the output of the Focusrite just into one of your channels of your mixer.
I'll just choose
No,
channel.
no, no. Just one of your channels. Yeah, yeah, as if it were an instrument. That's a line. And then if you got a line or mic instrument select, make sure that it's line. Although sometimes that gets tricky. But each step of the way, just let me see where you're at, so then we can. There we go.
Hey. Okay. It's in. It's working. Now I'm just gonna listen to this song for the rest of the stream. Okay, okay. I'll turn the volume down. I'll turn the volume down the channel.
Than I had actually thought it was going to be. It's worked, even though there was our big USB 3 snafu. Like, what the? Oh my God. I'm glad this is only a 1 hour stream, so that way I can obsessively comb over every possession I have. Like, come on. USB 3, come on. Anyway, yeah, if you have a newer unit, then you're going to need USB 3. It will have limited functionality or no functionality. So, yeah, your USB, these newer units are useless without a USB 3 port. But luckily, I've got this old. Well, it's new, but it's been around for a while. This Behringer, I think it's like $130 or something. Which isn't bad at all, you know. The outputs on this is really impressive, if you could see. Kind of hard for you to see, but let me see. Yeah, it has an impressive amount of outputs and main outs and various, yeah, even, yeah, and also RCA. Again, this is all the out stuff, and MIDI in and out, which is crazy. MIDI in and out, which I haven't even played with using MIDI through the audio interface. That's got to be nuts. I don't even know where to start there. I'm completely ignorant. Or I'm assuming it's so it can play program changes or program changes of MIDI channels of parameters. That's my assumption. I mean, what else could it be? So now we could get wild. In a half hour of our stream, we floundered looking for the. I floundered looking. You floundered looking for the camera adapter, and I floundered looking for the USB 3 cord. But we still got her done in less than a half hour. So um, we can take it to the next level, and then if we don't achieve the next level, we can save it for the next stream. But the next level would be, can we start a garage band? uh can we do a garage band see, now this is where you're stopped because you don't have garage band on your right. You have it on your phone though. Yeah, you have it on your phone. So now let me see. What could be something interesting? What sort of audio recorder do you have on that unit? Now we're getting experimental, folks, which is cool because if you guys all have different stuff, then now we're just sort of going mainstream protocol. What is your audio recording? And perhaps even a native audio recording program on your tablet or on your phone. Um, yeah, yeah. If you don't have iPhone and stuff, then of course you're not going to have GarageBand. Oh my God, did I drink this whole thing? Yes, I did. Hey, remember, I gotta keep drinking liquids.
Looks like I have access to a buying thing. Wait, what the heck? Don't do that to me. Garage. Software application by Apple. Download GarageBand Windows version.
Well, now this is worth the purchase price of the stream to know that if even if you don't have an iPhone or an iPad, you can possibly get GarageBand for your whatever unit you have.
Page looks like. Right, you have here. It's probably just shows backwards on all your screen, but it says File GarageBand 2.0 Windows PC for Windows XP 8, 8.110. Requirements: 2 gigabytes RAM, dual core processor, 40 megabytes. Security well tested. Start your download, etc. So yeah, it looks like we can do this on the Windows, which is
A half hour. Excellent. Yeah, there you go. If you're following along. Well, we're going well beyond the territory that we would have otherwise covered if we planned this. If we planned this, we would have probably done this on your laptop so we could use your phone. But now that you're finding out you could use your tablet and that that's possible, that's cool. That's super cool, man. Because that's exactly what we got going on here. I'm using the for for the blogging, for the streaming, when we're going full force, because right now we're just riding raw. But when we're going full force, I'm using the iPad or the tablet as the main sound source. It then goes to the recording device, which is the iPhone. You can kind of have the same effect. Well, there's all kinds of ways you could do that, right? You can use your computer to record instead of your iPhone. That's especially useful if you're using things like OBS or some other streaming software. Um, but if we can get GarageBand going, then be able to we'll be able to kind of take it to the next level, which is let's make sure GarageBand and its virtual instruments, you can access them by way of your audio interface, because that's the super cool thing that we can do. And after that, we can make sure that we can plug instruments in, microphones and instruments, so we can get it into GarageBand. And then we're just happy as little GarageBand musicians.
of trouble getting this on in time here. Download now. Okay. Set up. Another instance is okay. Next. We're on it. Hold on. Okay. It doesn't tell me how long it's going to take for it to download, unfortunately. So.
Going on, I can kind of go ahead and I could always backpedal as soon as you're all kind of going. So you just keep working on your end. So if you have GarageBand and you can get GarageBand going, all right, just open GarageBand and we'll start a project. Let's just pretend. Yeah, let's just pretend we already got a I guess I got something going here already. And okay, we'll start a new project. Let's see. So it says when you open GarageBand, it'll say create a song. You just create a song. And then we're going to open up drums first thing. Drums first thing. And it's drums, acoustic drums. And we do that. Now, automatically, it's going to give you 8 bars. You can uh, dial in as many bars as you want, or just automatic. So, however you like. So, the if you have an a a Bluetooth device, so I have like a keyboard here, and I could play the drums on my keyboard, or I can play them on my electronic drums. And you would just go into your settings, and because it's an advanced setting, and then you go Bluetooth MIDI devices, and then you just turn on any of the Bluetooth MIDI devices that are available. Of course, make sure the device itself is turned on and transmitting so this picks it up. But if you're just playing off the iPad or the phone itself, then you should be ready to go. And here we go. Now it automatically has the tempo going. You can go into the gearbox and hit tempo and hit tap tempo. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling I tend to feel about 97 as a tempo. Very interesting. If I just if I just go, let's jam, ready? 1, 2, I tend to do about 97 beats per minute. Strange thing there. You can control a bunch of other things like key signature, time signature, and all that stuff. But you don't really need to do that. It's not going to behave differently if you don't set that stuff. That stuff is good when you're going to automate, you want only Phrygian notes in F sharp, you see, and that can get very useful, right? You Let's say you're not a great saxophone player, but you want to sound like a great saxophone player. Oh, well, then you go into these settings. You make sure you set your key signature, um, right, to the major, minor, and um, then when you go into the instrument will have a setting saying what key do you want to play in a particular key. And then only those notes will play. And you can sound like a phenomenal saxophone player or whatever it is that you want to do. So it's a wonderful way to cheat. But you have to know music to use it. And here's a funny thing: I often will try to use it, but I just don't like the restriction. so I'll just go ahead and play it, myself. But on an occasion or two, especially like if you're trying to do bass lines and you don't want to, you don't want to get nutty about bass lines. You just know that the bass can't play certain notes, so it's nice you take them out, and then it makes it really easy to do bass lines. And it doesn't feel so much like cheating because you could do that baseline. It's just it just makes the process, because when you're trying to record stuff, there's, especially in the digital realm, there's a lot of ways you can go about editing stuff, right? But I try not to edit too much. In other words, go in and take each note out, change velocities. Only thing I like to do is just make sure everything is in tempo. So it is in a good enough tempo. That's it. And then on some occasions, I'll not set the quantization. In other words, yeah, you're setting quantization. So here's a good example. We just picked an acoustic set. It's going to give us four. This is our metronome. We could turn it on or off. I'll turn this down so it's not too loud. And
Trying to download the GarageBand thing, it just keeps bringing me back to not having it. So I'm gonna try this Audacity music thing instead. Um,
game, man. So yeah, you'll be able to do stuff. Now, I don't know. Here's the thing. I think Audacity may have um uh stepped up their game and included virtual instruments, because that's sort of what you want here is virtual instruments. Now, here's the thing. See if you can get AUM first. Yeah, see if because if you can get AUM, then you can do all kinds of stuff. And if I'm not mistaken, AUM is cross-platform. So here is the beat that I just made. Yes. Okay.
hmm. But oh gosh, advertisements. How
Quantization on this, but I think I might have nailed it. But let's check. Now I just click on the track, click on the arrow, click on settings, and then oh, it's already quantized to a 16th note. I'm gonna see what sounds like quantized to an 8 note, 18th note rather, or eighth note. Let me see what it sounds like in a swing. Eighth note, swing. Oh, that's horrible. How about triplet? Eighth note triplets. Nope. Okay, this is all straight eighth notes. Actually, it was doing fine with the 16th notes, so I'll leave it. Yeah. Now there are some dead notes there. The velocity wasn't right. You can go in and change the velocity on any of the notes. You can take notes in, take notes out. So I love recording stuff when I can with virtual instruments. When I can, because your editing capabilities are just incredible. You know. But of course, some things, like guitar, a lot of times it's just not tenable. I say guitar is one of the top things that you just kind of want to use a physical guitar. Usually want to sing and you want to play guitar, but virtual instruments and everything else is it's fine, man. If you know what you're doing, it's there's no difference. There is a great difference. There's no noise. There's absolute control over the sound and editing notes, quantizing stuff like that. Now, here's a quick little. We're coming up on our last 10 minutes here, but here's a tip that was given to me a long time ago. I kind of don't use it a lot, but it's a tip that will really help you um, when you're starting out here and you run into problems. And that is this: once you have your record your virtual instruments, you've edited it and you made it sound just the way you want it to sound, uh, turn it into a wave file. Turn it into an audio file or whatever they're using. But uh, here, I'll show you exactly what I mean. You click on it and hit settings, and that's not the one. Actually, you hit the instrument. Now, here's something worth knowing on GarageBand. Hitting the track is not the same as hitting the instrument channel. So there's hitting the instrument track gives you one menu, hitting the instrument channel gives you another. So with instrument channel, um, merge. There's a button called merge, and I'll go ahead and hit it just to make sure. And then it will ask you, are you sure you want to do that? And you say, yes, merge. And it turns it into an actual audio track. So now you're not hearing a digital track, you're hearing an actual audio track, which is really cool. Now, but the thing that's really necessary about that is the computer, your phone, your iPad actually deals with wave files a lot more easier than it does a bunch of virtual instruments. And I thought it would just be the other way around. To me, intuitively, using working with wave files would be more intensive. But no, when you think about it, if you have a whole bunch of virtual instruments, your computer has to work really hard to convert that essentially MIDI data and convert it into audio data, analog audio data. So I have to do a lot of work. So if you go ahead and merge your uh, your virtual instrument recording, you can turn it into wave recording, and it'll be much more efficient. It won't run down your computer and your hard drive. Yeah, I got that little bit of information down because, again, I rarely do that because the computers and iPads and stuff these days are so powerful that I haven't had to do that. But I probably should do it. I will do it when I start mastering more of these songs that I have on GarageBand. Um, Programs, Audacity is great for Windows and for everybody else if you're not on a Mac or iPhone, right? Audacity is great. Um, uh, uh, the problem with Audacity, what I'm noticing is they're now starting to look like a Candy Crush ad.
Doesn't really look that appealing. Like that's what you get, you know. And so
It doesn't look very good. Audacity still doesn't look at very good. I've looked at it recently off of somebody else's computer. But here's what I say to this. You're probably not going to use whatever you're using to do what you're doing because you're on a tablet, right? Yeah. Um, you know, I just don't know anybody that's doing any sort of music production whatsoever on anything other than you know, an iPhone or an iPad. Yeah.
that part.
I have a Windows. I'm sorry. Um, and what is this called? This is a Mac Air. I could just look. It says it right on there. This is a MacBook Air from 2013. When I was originally trying to do GarageBand, I was trying to do it off of this Mac, and it was working up to a point, but then it would, like I said, it would crash down. It couldn't handle all the virtual instruments, blah blah blah. And then so I then, just out of desperation, I hooked up my phone and tried to work GarageBand, and it worked great. And I've been using my phone ever since to make music on GarageBand. Uh, Except for, of course, when I have an iPad available. But I use my iPad, but the same difference. It all goes up on the cloud. You know, uh, AUM, GarageBand. That's all you need, and then you could those you can get on your iPhone. Uh, yeah, I really wouldn't even want to console anybody to use anything else for audio production. If you're using a PC for streaming, I totally get that because that's actually better. PCs, I hear, like working OBS with a PC is apparently easier. Maybe I don't know, but I could see how that could be the case. You know, because Mac Apple doesn't want to play ball. OBS work a lot smoother. Audacity works really well as well on a PC. Um, for that kind of stuff, if you have a webcam and all that, then you know, I think for what you're doing is we're going. I, uh, you want to be able to record on GarageBand, just like I just recorded here on my iPad. You want to be able to do that on your phone, and you want to be able to lay tracks. You want to be able to plug in your microphone and assign it to a track in GarageBand and stuff like that. So I know you got to go, and but what I'll suggest is before we get together again, go ahead and try to connect your iPhone and GarageBand. Just and if you forget tomorrow, this will be up online. You can rewatch this. Uh, uh, and yeah, and then and oh, this is what I want to say is there is a couple decent resources for GarageBand, using GarageBand with iPad. There's a GarageBand. You just look up GarageBand tutorial. There's a guy named Pete Johns. He does an okay job, and there's another guy that is American, but looks a little like Pete Johns. Looks like he's like a copycat channel, but his channel's fine too. Uh, and you know they've got like just they specialize in hooking up garage band and stuff like that. So there's tons of videos on hooking up your iPad or iPhone or GarageBand. And hopefully, this video served well on how to hook it all up. You did a pretty good job of hooking it up to just a tablet and getting the sound out of the tablet.
Perhaps I'll have to go ahead and go with an iPad sometime soon, just so that I can have that versatility. You know.
You can get them pretty inexpensive, and they're pretty much, if you're going to do music production, it's the best money you could spend as a musician because you now have the access of $1 million studio for however much you paid for your iPhone or iPad. Yeah, yeah. All the amps, all the effects, all the instruments. You know, I mean, it's really quite phenomenal. So
You have to like you know, like where you touch is very fine pointed.
gonna need is a secondary audio interface, tons of money, so you don't have to just buy whatever Behringer's selling and it's rated really well. You can get them for like 40, $60. So you can get your secondary audio interface. Depends where your money's at. If you happen to have a couple bucks, then maybe go above what you got and go with a USB 3. But then you got to buy a USB 3 cord. Right? Right. So, but you could just go with a standard like 40 to $60 Behringer for your primary and your secondary. So that way, one is for your instruments, and the other is for recording. You know, and then we'll be ready to go. We'll be ready to go. So on our next, you also have one of these, and it has a USB-C and a an XLR on the back here. Might as well just show it, right? So on our next sound advice episode, we'll go into plugging these things up because these are really cool. You can actually bypass using this, plug your headphones and plug this right into your phone. Still need your camera adapter. Plug it right into your phone, and you have a whole production studio right there. So with this headphones and your camera adapter, you're set. You have a whole studio. So maybe play acoustic,
Hmm.
sing la la, say acoustic. Hey, Mike's picking up both of them. Test one, ding 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 ding. Test, ding ding ding. Right. Yeah, just picking up a real cool vibe. Real. Um, yeah. It's just boom, 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 and so you can do that without having all that stuff. I wish I had known. See, because I didn't know how you could use this stuff, and it is all kind of still relatively new. But yeah, I didn't know that you could just buy something like that for I don't know what $100, even $150, and you don't have to go into a whole audio interface and everything. You just got your The headphones, microphone, boom, you fly. But still, there's no way you can't plug your instruments in, you know. And when you're using one of these kinds of mics, then you definitely why isn't it moving the way I want you to move? Okay, there we go. Yeah, when you're using these kinds of mics, you if you're using an audio interface, then you want to use the XLR. They do have audio interfaces, the nicer ones, where you can actually plug in USB, which is kind of cool. The nice thing about using USB uh, on that is if you're plugging it into your computer and then you can actually customize the mic. Really, really cool. You can get a basic microphone, like something like this. This is like a entry level broadcast quality, right? But you can get even a lower, like a basic SM57 or an SM58. You can record. You can actually use an app, a microphone app, and choose, like, $1 million mic. You can choose $1 million mic because it'll turn. It says, what mic are you using? Oh, I'm using this SM57. There's, what do you want it to sound like? And it will imitate that sound. Super cool. Super cool. So what that means is if you're out there buying microphones and stuff, you may want to consider micro USB microphones because that's how they do that, is through the USB interface. Can't do that through the XLR interface. Not in that fashion, at least, right? So super cool, super cool. USB, super cool. But I probably will never. I rarely will use it. I'll try to use it, but mostly I'm using XLR because you already have the interface, the audio interface. And the thing with the audio interfaces is that they have stronger preamps. So that's the main thing. So that way you've got knobs here and you can turn up, you could boost the signal through the preamps. You got the 48 volt. If you've got a microphone, why can't I say the name of it? You've got dynamic mics and you've got the other kind,
Com-
condenser mics. There we go.
Condenser
Yeah.
mic, not condenser.
Yes. So if you have a condenser mic, then you're going to need 48 volts. So your unit is going to allow you to do that. Some units, it's 48 volts for everything, or everything or nothing. And some units, you can actually assign it to each 48 volts to whichever ones. Again, this Behringer allows you to do that, and it's a cheap ass thing. That Scarlet, which is sort of, the higher end, right? Yeah, it doesn't allow you to do that. Still doesn't allow you to do it, to my knowledge. Again, that's why I got this Audient, because it allows you to do 48 separate. But after all is said and done, I haven't used separate 48 or not for anyway. I go, oh, gotta be able to do that. No, 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 not really. Yeah, especially now, I don't even use a condenser mic anymore. I'm mostly using my dynamic mic, Um, yeah. Uh, uh, all right. Yeah, we'll go into we'll see where you're at. So you've got some homework you can do, and see where you're at when we come back. We'll pick it up. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. If you have an audio interface that you're trying to connect and this helped you out some, let us know. If you're still struggling, let us know what you're struggling with. Maybe on the next episode, we'll make fun of you. Yeah, just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. We won't make fun of you. We'll do the best we can to help you out because that's what this is all about. Sound advice is all about. Sound advice, by the way, is brought to you by my Bandcamp. Yeah, I have a Bandcamp. It's called The Art of Integrity bandcamp.com. You can buy my music over there. You can also buy my music at my new page called cfuz.com/music. That's easy. cfuz.com/music. That's easier than the art of integrity.bandcamp.com. That's a lot easier, right? cfuz.com/music. So yeah, I butter. Yeah, no finer words have been said. I've been trying to populate and put more music up there for you guys. There's a lot of cool stuff up there. Some of my music, art, and stuff like that. Also, be sure to check out Chad Venture's channel. He is I guess what you would describe as a wilderness gynecologist. No, hold on, wilderness geo gynecologist. No, hold on. What is it? He's a rock star. Essentially, he's a rock star. That's it. He's a geoscientist. I'm an ignoramus, so I don't know how to say geoscientist. Um, yeah,
Job or something that keeps me out here and I have to go elsewhere, I'm gonna just pick up my guitar like I do and just be a musician all winter until until something comes up. All winter. What am I?
to do with rocks and stuff. You are actually, now that I'm saying this, you're going to create another channel for music, aren't for your music, right? That's right. Oh, damn. What is that? Tyrannosaurus Rex footprint or something? Damn. You're allowed to say that on the internet? Oh, that's right. You got a degree. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, well, it's as good as in the bag, man. Be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Before he became Mr. Universe, before he won it, he just called his parents up and told them that he won it. Yeah. Yes, I won. Yes. Okay. Good night. Yeah. Yeah. Just have that sort of confidence. Um, all right, man. Well, I'm actually very excited. I know this is a overused word, especially on the internet. I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so excited to be excited. I can't wait to be excited about being excited about being excited. Uh, but I am actually excited to see how far you can get on your own with this and with your phone, with the with GarageBand and stuff like that. Because once you're there, man, and I'm hoping Justin jumps on board with it as well, because that means like we could jam together. We could literally jam together except with one great improvement, we will not have to smell one another. See, that's always been the big problem with bands is like, okay, this is great and all, but fuck, do I gotta smell you? Oh no. Oh, just gouge my eyes out with like just a butter knife or something because I just don't want to ever smell that smell again. It's like, dude, that's you. Well, I don't care if it's me. You're reflecting my smell back at me. That's just not fair. Yeah, well, it's 115 or whatever the hell it is here. So yeah, we got crazy. Um, yeah, but if you guys get on board with this audio interface and garage band stuff, man, then I don't understand why people don't do this. Like they go, oh, or like they'll do it. They'll go, oh, but garage band sucks. I'm like, I don't understand that at all. I do understand it on one level, and it's a huge level, but still, GarageBand does not record in 32 bit, 32 floating bit. Ow, right? Because now that you have the capability of doing 32 floating bit, oh, oh, and you might go, well, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is the biggest problem with it was 16-bit, then it's 24-bit. 24-bit is what GarageBand's using. Now, all the other ones are going to bump it up, and you'll probably be able to do 32 floating bit, okay? But you're not going to have the ease of use and all the things that you can do in GarageBand. Please, GarageBand, bump up to 32 floating bit. The big thing about 32 floating bit is that if you record something and it's too loud and distorted, you can turn it down after the fact. You ever record something that's blown out? There's not shit you can do about it because it's blown out. It's just too loud and it's distorted. Oh, well, that used to be a thing. Now there's this thing called 32-bit floating recording, which means it will never well, it just somehow through. I think it's magic. They've got elves. There's magic involved where you can bring the volume down after the fact. See, you young people will never understand the magic involved in something like that. Don't you understand? It was recorded too loud, and through magic, you're going, oh, no, no, let me just turn that down. Oh, yeah, go. And you go, well, wait, yeah. No, you don't understand. We had to walk uphill backwards in the snow in order. All right, now I should let you go. All right. Hey, thank you for joining us again. c4c.com/music is where you can go to pick up some of my music, some of my art. Go check out Chad Ventures over at his channel. Join us next week. Chances are, roll the dice. We'll be here same time, same channel next week. And we'll see where Chad Ventures has gotten in connecting his. Maybe this should be like an ongoing episode of. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, Chad Ventures tries to connect an audio interface, you know, and there's always something like, damn, where's the camera adapter? Damn it, the camera adapter is shorting out. Why is the camera oh, because there's too much gunk in my phone port from being in my pocket, and so now it's not connected. Wah, 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 wah. So, yeah, next episode, where Chad Ventures tries to connect his headphones, but they have a short in the wire. What's a short? Chad Venture says. I use Bluetooth. Oh, you know what? But um, yeah, yeah. Well, this is only going to take a quick moment. Yeah, so that was my reason to be happy today. I finally got that taken care of. Man, that was uh, really pissing me off. I didn't have that done. All right, Chad Ventures, everyone, aloha. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, send this to all your friends and family. We'll see you next week. Aloha. Thanks, man.